Hi, it's Ashley with Taylor Customs again, doing a 1,000-mile review for my 2020 Hakone Edition Toyota 86. I'll take you a little bit around what I like, what I don't like, for somebody who owns one. So come on with me. So one of the best parts about this car is the beautiful green. In certain lights it looks black, in certain lights it looks like a bright emerald green. The other times it looks kind of a mixture of two, like depending on where you're standing at the car. It's kind of a chameleon color just because it changes with wherever you're looking at it and what different lights you have it as well. And that's immediately what drove me to this car. This edition comes with the Toyota 86 symbol in the headlight. I thought that was a really nice little cute touch to the car. It also comes with LED headlights with LED running lights as well. One thing I love about this car is the little dimples that it has in the front. I don't know if it adds anything, it's just a nice styling feature that I love. It also has these wonderful bulges over the fenders that makes you think like a Ferrari, especially when you're driving it and you can see those bulges. It's perfect. It also comes with the combination of the bronze wheels, kind of like the Subaru does with the blue and their gold color. I think they did really well with this special edition because it really accents the car with this beautiful chameleon color green. They also have the 86 little symbol here, which is also a nice little touch feature. I love the little vents that we have in the front here too. The technology that Toyota put into it. I have a nice little key fob that's keyless. My cars is that I always have older cars that have no technology. They basically just run and that's about it. This car I love that the feature is once you get out of the car and you want to lock it, you don't ever have to take the key out of your pocket. You can literally just tap it right here. It locks the car for you. So when you open the door, the key also senses it. You never have to take the key out of your pocket, which is also good and bad because I never know if I have my key or not. One of the best styling features of this car for me is this rear bulge. I don't know why I love it, but it's got some hips. It's got some hips on her, so it just makes it a little bit more curvy. Hakone Edition comes with is the rear spoiler that is the matte black finish. It also has the color matched sides, which I thought was a nice touch for the special edition. Just has little touches all the way around that Toyota did very well. Also, when you have your key in your pocket, it is a keyless entry from the trunk as well. Has a very nice size trunk. We went and got groceries this morning and everything fit in there really nice. It also comes with this nice 86 little mat that's in here as well. So which is Toyota 86 has this little badge on the bumper here. Some of them have it, some of them don't, and I don't know exactly why that is. Alright, so we're going to go into the engine bay of this car. One thing that is really awesome with this car is the hood is all aluminum, so that it is very, very light. So here's the Subaru part of this car. Nice little boxer engine. This one has the TRD upgraded air filter on it. So the Subaru Boxer engine keeps the weight low in the car, which is also really nice around corners, makes it handle really nice weight-wise. This one is a 6-speed manual transmission. Another thing about the 2020 Special Edition is that it does not come with the Brembo brake package. And when I was looking at the reviews of this car and going through everything package-wise that you can get with it, I was a little upset with that the Brembos didn't come on this car, just because that would make it just a little bit more special in my personal opinion. But also I drove a car that did have the Brembo brakes on it, and I'll be honest, I could not tell a difference one way or the other, whether it was harder braking, better braking, they felt the same. So I'm pretty okay with the stock brakes on it. You obviously can get the Brembos and put it on there. It's always just going to be kind of a personal preference type of thing. One thing that I'm interested to do with this car, obviously it's a special edition, so I want to keep the special edition part of it, but I'm also interested in maybe doing the TRD exhaust on it. There's also a OEM sound system that they make for it that has a subwoofer that is color match to the Hakone color, which would be pretty special in my personal opinion. So those are the two upgrades that I possibly may be wanting to do in the future. This is the interior review. This special edition comes with the tan interior. I can tell you when I searched this car to review, make sure I wanted to buy this car, this was a questionable deal breaker because the look on the computer looked a lot different than the tan actually does in person. But now that I see it with all the little touches that it has inside, it is beautiful. The tan seats have the Alcantara in the middle here. They also have these sides where you can feel the comfort all the way through. It also has this little clip on the side here for your seatbelt. We talked about that a little bit in the driving video, just because it keeps it a little lower and you don't have to reach all the way back there to get the seat belt to come forward. Another feature that the special edition has is this nice little Toyota embroidered symbol with the Alcantara in the dash. One of the reasons I wanted to get the 2020 is because the 17 that I was looking at doesn't have the toggle switches. It reminds me of kind of like an airplane. You have the toggle switches down, and most of the time they're on a setting that you like and you keep them there, but I also just like the look of the aluminum. You have your normal Toyota audio system, all touchscreen, your apps, your Bluetooth, all that. Just enough technology, I would say. Here's the little collar, if you want to say, to be able to put it in reverse. So it goes in like that. One thing that I also love is that you have the clock from the beginning of when Toyota put clocks in cars. This thing will never ever fail you. And it is in every Toyota that you have ever seen. And I think it should just always be in every Toyota you've ever seen. The sliding feature of the armrest is here. Once again, I talked about that in the driving video, how I hate that it just kind of constantly goes back. You also can hold two cup holders, two cups here. You also have the removable cup piece. All right, another special feature of the Hakone is that it comes with this little leather carrying case for all your documents. Obviously, it keeps everything nice and together. Just another feature that makes it just that much more special. It also comes with the key fob, matching leather piece. We have a little more technology, little pieces here, so you have your charging port if you have a car charger. I don't know anybody who has a car charger anymore. You also have your USB port here, so your normal phone charger will go there. This little thing I've never used. Most people think that it's pretty useless. I mean, it may fit your key fob if you just have your fob, which would be nice. Definitely doesn't fit my phone. My phone is bigger than that, and most phones today are tablets, so they will not fit in there. On the dash here, you can see that I have just over 1,000 miles. You also have your vitals of your car over here. If you toggle up, you have your torque dip indicator where you can follow it along as you're driving. You have your little 86 symbol that goes away when you stop the car. And when you start the car, you have your little Toyota 86 little logo. I want to show you the carbon fiber accents that we have here. It goes also into the Alcantara up here. You also have the aluminum features with the pedals down there, and again on the door. This is the first car that I've ever had with a push-button start. Yes, I like old cars, but the push-button start was pretty awesome in this car at least. It took me a while to figure out how to put it in accessory mode. Just tap this button once, and you can go ahead and go into the accessory mode, listen to some music while you're sitting in the parking lot, stuff like that. Tap it again and it turns it off. One thing that also sold me on this car is this is the first car that I've had that had dual climate control. I'm always cold, my husband is always hot, so it's nice to be able to adequately get your side of the car situated for what you need. Alright, so this is the driving review of the 2020 Hakone edition. I can tell you this car is fun. It is the most fun that you can have doing the speed limit. And I'll tell you why. Because the handling is very crisp around corners. You literally can feel you shifting from side to side, but the seats actually hold you very nicely so that you can feel all of the road like a normal sports car. You can, but it's not uncomfortable.
But this car, the manual transmission comes with 205 horsepower, automatic comes with 200, and that we chose to go with the 5 extra horsepower, mainly because we like our manuals over automatics, but still.
The automatic has the flappy paddles, which was pretty cool to be able to test drive that. I do feel like the manual is a little more responsive as far as control with going in and out of gears and the throttle. Could be an oversight on my side, but that's what I feel.
And manuals are just fun to drive. Just not as boring as an automatic.
I feel like the manual is a little more zippy around town. Could be the way I drive my manuals. At idle, this car is very quiet. Braking test. Brakes were good.
We both drove the car with the Brembos. You like the Brembos, but to be honest, on a hard course test in that, we never really found much of a difference between the stock brakes and the Brembos. I did look when we were looking to get this car. I did actually look to see if we could add the Brembos to this car as just an added feature. They would not allow it. We could have bought them, of course, aftermarket situation or from the Toyota dealer. We could have bought the whole setup, but there was really no point to it for this car. This car will never be rally raced or drifted or anything else. This is a daily driver, a fun daily driver for Ashley. So it wasn't a big deal. If you were going to do some hardcore racing in that, the Brembo upgrade would probably be a good thing to get on your car with the GT model. For us, it just wasn't necessary. This car has the Prius tires. Let's be honest, they're Prius tires. They're nothing exciting. They're overall pretty boring tires. But again, for a daily driver, they do great. When we burn through these tires and it's time for new tires, we will upgrade to a better set of tires. But again, on the stock car for the first time out, and that, they're great. And that way, if you're learning to do donuts or burnouts in them and that, you don't care that you're burning up those tires. The aftermarket for this car is through the roof. Just about everybody makes something for this car. If you're trying to get rid of the torque dip, and that, headers and exhaust seem to be pretty much the two things you can do.
Stay tuned, we may be doing that.
That will just wipe that completely out.
You also have the choice of going with a supercharger or a turbo. Me personally, I have a turbo, so the supercharger is a little bit more interesting. I also love the supercharger wine. Who doesn't? This is a real-world drive car. It is a nice summer car. This car will never see snow in our life.
If you live in Colorado and this was going to be your sole transportation in that, I'm not sure I would recommend this car for wintertime driving. We have yet to try it. We haven't owned it long enough to be able to put it in wintertime. But we also have a 4-wheel drive truck that we would normally drive in the wintertime. So really, with the exception of just a test purpose, this car will never see snow. I must say though, I love the look of those freaking wheel arches when driving around in this car. They are, well, they're just cool.
I'm a little shorter and I can't see them as well unless I sit really tall, and it is pretty cool. Those are my Ferrari fenders. Ferrari fenders.
And whenever we talk about the Ferrari, we're talking about the Ferrari California. If you ever look at it, and that, I know it's not a apples to apples comparison, but it's got a couple little styling cues that make it look like a Ferrari. So that's what we joke about. It's got a slight reminiscence to the Ferrari from California. You still feel every bump in this car. You feel the road as you're driving it, but it's still a comfortable car. Would I necessarily drive from Colorado to California in this car? Well, it wouldn't be my first choice, but I could do it. It's got plenty of leg room. It's got a 6-speed, so when you're cruising on the highway and that, it settles down. It's not overly obnoxious loud. I do miss the satellite radio. Our Tundra has a satellite. I like the satellite. I know a lot of people just use Pandora and apps like that.
It does hook to my phone with like Amazon Music, stuff like that. thing, when you buy this car from the dealer, they do offer you a 2-year maintenance package. So I think my first oil change is...
Your first service is due at 5, but they won't change the oil until 10.
There you go.
So,
Hang on.
car does take 91 octane.
Ooh, G-forces.
I
Okay.
know, I wish you would have had your G-force thing
I
up for that.
G-force little thing on the dash is pretty entertaining to see how many G-forces you can pull. Dan, would you own another 2020 Toyota 86?
I would buy one of these for myself. I really would. One, because I'm Toyota. I like Toyota. I would, however, have bought the GT. I like the TRD stuff. I am a TRD fanatic. I was so upset that Ashley didn't buy this car as a GT TRD. However, I will concede she made the better choice. But if we kept this car and I was going to buy one, and that I would buy the GT, and that so I could have all my TRD features.
What would you do to yours?
Every single thing under the moon. Well, I wouldn't put the wide body kit. Some people that fits well. It's not a for me thing. I would probably turbocharge it. I would definitely put a new exhaust and new headers on it. Probably put an intake in on it. I don't know that I'd change a whole lot in the suspension. The factory wheels on the GT aren't all that spectacular. I'd change those. But other than that, the car would stay pretty much the same. I mean, it would be a fun little weekend track car, and that's about it. I would not do and would not recommend, with the exception of trying to get rid of that torque dip on this car, doing really any of those things to this car.
It's just fun as is.
This car is just fun. And again, the looks you get, the people who make comments on this, and that is just worth it. It's fun. They don't know what it is. They've never seen it before.
It's kind of like a rare unicorn that you get just a glimpse of. Is nobody knows what it is, but they love it.
Of all the rear-wheel drive sports cars, we looked. You know, you got the Mustang, the Camaro, the Dodge Charger, the Dodge Challenger. You got the Mazda series, MX-5 that a lot of people compare this to. Ashley really didn't like the styling of the MX-5, so we didn't do it. 370Z, that was a fun car. I told my wife when we test drove it, you're going to get yourself in trouble with this one. This is it.
Has a lot of power and you like to use it.
Yes. And I will say, one of the features that I really, really like about this car is the back seats. They're useless. They are absolutely useless. Maybe if you have a baby that you need to hold back there and that, you could do that. Getting that baby in and out is going to be a pain.
Challenge.
But that's about all that seat's really good for. But I like it because it's just a little more room in this car as opposed to what the 370Z had. You just get a little more. It's not like your seat goes back that much farther. It doesn't. But I get a little place where I can put stuff.
But it feels a little more cramped in the 370Z. Not really that I'd use the word claustrophobic, but claustrophobic.
I didn't enjoy it. Now again, we didn't buy this car for me, and this was Ashley's decision 100%.
To be honest, the space in the 2020 is a little lacking with far as places to put any valuables that you're taking with you. This elbow rest here, that is a sliding elbow rest. Honestly, that doesn't stay in place. One thing that I do wish that it did is when it's forward, it is in a lock position. Maybe you had a button that you could have pushed to revert it back to actually use the cup holders. Most of the time it's back there because I hit it with my elbow and it stays back there.
And Ashley kind of just came away going, well, I've already got a really fast car. I don't need another fast car. I want something that I can have fun in.
And honestly, I can't tell you why this car makes you smile like it does. It just does. There's no words. You just literally have to just smile. You smile and you giggle, and that's what cars should make you feel, is just no words.
And just in mind, you should always park your car and don't look back at your car. You bought the wrong car.
It truly is a driver's car if you love the feel of driving curves in this car are awesome. The way it handles its weight, it just kind of throws it around side to side, is even when you're going to the grocery store and you're merging onto a highway, you want to go around the corner as fast as you can just to feel a little bit of that curve. My husband laughs half the time because even when I'm just city driving, I'll go around a roundabout and I'll go around it in such a fast way that I like to feel a curve. Just the little things that make daily driving in this car just so much nicer. So another thing that I like about the dash on the 86 is that you get your speedometer in a digital readout on the dash, but it took me a while to figure out that this other gauge over here is the speedometer because I never looked at it. Since it has a digital readout, I don't ever look at that gauge. I mean, it's nice and pretty, it makes everything balanced, but honestly, I don't ever look at it. That is really nice from Toyota's technology point of it, is that there is a little handheld control on the left side of the steering wheel that has up and down on the volume, and right to left you can change your station. I have really come to like that so that I don't ever have to touch the controls over on the dashboard. Everything is controlled with literally my left thumb. So it makes everything very easy to control without taking away from the driving experience of the car. As everyone does in an 86, you get a little bit giddy when you see that you have the torque curve that you can look at as you're driving. It's pretty entertaining. It also has a G-force counter.
So some facts on this car, in that obviously the shifter was in really good reach, very comfortable to reach the shifter. You have a reverse lockout so that you cannot accidentally, when you're pumping through gears, you can't accidentally put it in reverse. You have to slide up the collar and push it over all the way forward or
into the first
left,
position with the collar
left
depressed.
and forward to get it into reverse. Your traction control and your track mode buttons are within easy reach. This also has seat warmers, which none of our cars have.
Was another key feature on why I bought this car.
You can really tell that engine sits low when you're turning the car. The handling is improved because of that very low stance this car is. You do have to take some speed bumps at a little bit of an angle. Make sure you don't damage anything underneath. Really, outside noise, you don't hear much, and that it's very quiet in here. The stereo is playing. You can really hear the stereo. The speakers are nothing extravagant, nothing over the top exciting. They get the job done, and that they do sound good. It's probably one of the things that we will upgrade later on. Visibility out of the windshield is fantastic. Your blind spots are definitely there with the big pillars in the rear, but you get used to that just like any car you would. The rear window, of course, has the factory defrost like any car has. You can see out of it, you can see well out of it. The rear view mirror does great with that. Your speaker for when your Bluetooth is there is right up in the top of the headliner. I am 5'9" and I still have plenty of room head-wise in this car. I don't feel cramped in this car. If I was over 6 foot, it might be a different story. But for me, 5'9", and I've still got plenty of room. I feel very comfortable. The seat, if you're much bigger than I am, the seat is going to start getting a little tight on you. You may have to break that seat in. Those side holders, if you will, do their job really well. I am very secure in this seat. The seat belt has these little straps that go down the side, and they're there to kind of hold the seat belt so you don't have to reach as far back to get it. I have the biggest problem with remembering that those are there, but I don't drive this car all the time. They hold it so you don't have to reach as far back and buckle. It does move the seat belt just a little bit lower on your shoulder. For me, again, not a big deal. For somebody who is probably taller in that, it might be a little bit of different. You may not use those.
I can tell you, without that, it does choke you. As far as I'm only 5'3", and it sits right around my collarbone, which is where it should be. but without it, it sits higher and is a little more distracting. Another thing that I like is that literally this car is pretty much like your right hand, as far as when you get all the mirrors set up and all of the rear view set up. Everything is within grasp very comfortably. Another feature from Toyota that I love that they transferred to this car is the windshield wiper controls. So in my Tundra, I have the control that if you just literally tap it up once, it just does one sweep of the windshield wipers. And I love that in this car too, because it's one of the features I love so much in our Tundra. Another feature about this car that I don't really like is getting in and out of the car is a little bit of a chore, since it's so low and these seats hug you so nice that literally when you pop open the door, you're like, do I really have to get out? I'll just stay. But obviously you have to get out of your car at some point. It is a little bit more effort than other cars that we own.
You will never be the fastest person. You're just not. But you'll have a lot of fun with this car.